Hello everyone, and welcome to this educational presentation of daily scanning for winning trades. Now, I'm excited to present this webinar today because I'm going to be talking about a brand new feature that we've been working on for a long time at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies, and we specifically developed it for you so that you could scan for those high probability setups, for those hidden setups that are all around us, but that usually happen in hundreds and hundreds of different stocks and issues and futures and currency pairs. So there's a scanner now that it's available for you that can, in a matter of moments, scan for all of these on a nightly basis. For example, let's look at this chart right here. And this was in VRSN. This scanner actually spotted an identification of one of our setups right here, where everyone else might have said, well, there's resistance here, Steve. How can we spot anything? It looks like we're hitting some type of top. The scanner actually identified one of these hidden setups, and as you can see, the stock went up 17 points in the next 3 weeks. Now, this was an average $100 stock. It can also go with the high flyers. As we see here, this scanner would have given you the capability to identify these setups, not only here, but all along the way prior to a big move in Netflix. And this is all going to be done by using our new master scanner that's available on our new PTS Primo Charting platform. This is the educational portal that scans for winning signals. So this promises to be a great presentation. I'm really excited about this new feature. Welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. And 8 years ago, I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies, where our only goal is simply to educate you as traders. You see, our belief is that the reason why most traders fail is not because they have some system that's faulty or not because they don't have enough experience. It's basically because you're taking yourself out of the game. You're relying on someone or something else to tell you how to trade. I mean, think of it. Look at your own way in which you decide on how to enter or exit a particular market. Do you rely on some signal service, or do you simply wait for someone to tell you what to do in a chat room? Or do you wait for some news event to come out before you can make a decision, or even listen to the guys on TV because they're supposed to know what the markets are all about, right? Whenever you do things like this, you're basically telling the markets, I don't know what to do, tell me what to do. So we filled that gap by providing you with all the education and the techniques and materials you need so that we can teach you how to make your own trading decisions. This is what's lacking from your trading. And the beauty of this is that we've developed this new feature so that once you know what to look for, once you understand the entire process and the whole structure behind a strategy or technique, then you can scan for them and look and decide on your own which trade you want to take, rather than waiting for someone to tell you which one to take. So I've been trading for a total of 41 years. I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years. 9 of those years I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. A specialist is someone who made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. So if you wanted to buy or sell a particular stock, you had to go to the trader who specialized in making a market in that. So I made a market during the crash of 1987, the bull market that followed. So I've seen and traded just about everything you can think of. Every system, every strategy. I've traded it and tried it. I've even taught some of these things before. So in my 41 years of trading, I know what works in terms of consistency, and I know what doesn't work. So why waste your time, and especially your hard-earned money, spending all these things on all these $10,000, $20,000 systems? Some of the reports and testimonials we've gotten from some of our students where they've spent, just $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on things that don't work. Why waste your time when we can shorten your learning curve and really get you up and running so that you can make your own decisions? So this is what we're going to share with you today. I'm going to actually teach you one of the techniques that our master scanner scans for. And then I'm going to show you how simple it is to scan the hundreds, if not thousands, of stocks, futures, and currency pairs on a nightly basis so that you can find this particular technique. So this promises once again to be a great presentation, but before we begin, as always, we are first required by law to share this with you. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results using this particular technique that we scan for, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I am about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And remember that all examples I'm about to share with you are strictly for educational purposes only. As you're taking a brief moment to view our required disclaimer, I would also like to take this time to invite each and every one of you to follow us on Twitter. I post information on a daily basis, anywhere from little bits of financial wisdom to actual signals that our strategies have generated, or different educational things to take from us. So lots of great free information. Feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now, as I stated in the opening presentation, we are an educational company, all right? And the reason we are is because we feel, once again, that is what's missing from most traders' agenda. Not the perfect system, not the perfect market, not the perfect time frame, but sound fundamental education. And the reason why is because I was there with you some 41 years ago when I first started trading on the floor. Okay, I was doing all the things I had been taught, and it really wasn't working. So I'm going to share with you what I learned trading on the floor of the exchange. And most of this is extremely simple, but trust me, it is the simple things that will sustain you. Not the complicated, advanced indicators, advanced techniques. It's the simple things that will have you trading not just a couple of years down the road, but 10, 20, 30, possibly 40 or 50 years down the road. So here's what I learned trading on the floor of the exchange. And this is basically, once again, Trading 101. My mentor said, Steve, you will increase your odds for success by trading in sync with the trend. Okay, now I know everyone knows this. It's probably the first thing you're always taught. But if this is, one of the basics of trading, why do most people try to pick a top or a bottom? Why do most people try to, buy something while it's going down or sell something while it's going up? It's because you're looking for that quick fix, more of a gambling mentality that you bought at the bottom or sold at the top, when in all actuality, that very rarely happens. So it's not exciting to trade with the trend. And also, a lot of people have difficulty figuring out what the trend is, because everyone has a different idea of how to determine what the trend is. For example, we look at this chart here in HRB. Someone looking at this would say, well, okay, this is kind of going up, but it looks like it's rolling over, but then it goes higher. So I guess we are in an uptrend. So you decide to buy, and then it decides to turn over just when you got in, right? Or you see this chart in the Canadian dollar. It looks like it may have bottomed out, but you want a little more assurance, and then it goes lower. So you decide, okay, well, now it's really going lower, so I'm going to short this, and then it goes straight up. Or even the E-minis, okay? It's going up, but you're not convinced yet, and then it goes up a little higher. Then you say, okay, well, we've got this kind of high-level consolidation. It's going to break out and straight down, right? So what we need is an early trend detector, because most of us determine what the trend is way too late. And by the time we get in, or by the time we feel confident, it's too late. We've missed most of the run, and most of the time we're buying at the top and selling at the bottom. This is the way most traders trade. So we need something that's going to determine the trend a lot earlier. That's not going to pick the bottom of a trend or pick the top, but at least get us in a lot earlier. Well, this is what we call the PTS. You've heard me speak about this numerous times. This is one of our most popular as well as powerful tools. It's not a trading system. It's not a trading strategy. It is a tool to determine the trend of any market, any time frame, any direction. I was first introduced to this roughly 40 years ago on the floor of the stock exchange. Now, we used to calculate it by hand what the formula was, but now we've, with high-speed computers, with the programmers, we've changed it into a proprietary color bar algorithm. So we've taken all the hard work out for you. There's nothing you have to calculate. And if you're an intraday trader, the way I was on the floor of the exchange when I first learned this formula, there's no way to use this if you want to intraday trade, because by the time you're finished with the calculation, it's time to get set for the next bar's calculation. So we've taken all the hard work out for you. If you see a series of green bars, that means you're in a short-term uptrend. If you see a series of red bars, you're in a short-term downtrend, okay? It's that simple. You're either going to see a green or a red bar. So if we look back at these examples, how could we have told ourselves if we were in the trend or not, or if we got in too late? We simply add the PTS, and we see that well in advance, it was generating green bars, and well before we fell out of bed, it was generating red bars. See how it's an early trend detector. Same thing with the Canadian dollar. How did we know this thing was going to shoot up? Well, we can't pick the bottom or the top. No one knows that. But we can give ourselves an early warning. We can give ourselves a chance. And as you can see, the PTS changed right here prior to finding out you were in a large uptrend. Lastly, that range bar of the E-mini, as we can see here, we were going up, then quickly went lower. Well, guess what? We would have found out well in advance that the trend had changed, given us time to get out, and if we wanted to, get on the sell side, the short side. So you see the power in this tool, all right? And this is one of its basic uses, to find out what the trend is, and then you can trade your strategy, your technique, your system, whatever you're trading, in sync with the trend. And we strongly feel it will increase your odds for consistency, because we go back to Trading 101 again, you are in sync with the trend. But as we started to use the PTS more in my years of using it and applying it, we found out different things, because as you can see, the beauty of the PTS is that it tells you which direction you should be trading. That's its basic application. But here's what we found out. The PTS can also generate hidden high probability entry patterns. You see, there are patterns and techniques associated with these patterns that will give you high probability entry point, high probability setups for entering or exiting the marketplace. Now, these are not strategies, because a strategy comes with a clear-cut entry point, a clear-cut exit, a clear-cut stop placement, clear-cut money management. You need all those pieces of the puzzle in order to have a strategy or a system. But with an entry point or with a technique, all you need is some high probability area to stand out. Okay? Then you can apply those rules, whatever rules you want to it. So this is what we have here for you. We have a PTS trading technique that is going to be available on our new master scanner. All right, but let me share with you what this technique is based off of. Okay, because we're transparent. We don't just say this is a black box system and just scan for these up and down arrows. We don't believe in that. Remember, that's the way the business is based on, of you just blindly taking signals. We don't believe in that at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. Our belief is first to educate you, then provide you with tools to make that trading easier. All right, so these are requirements. Obviously, you're going to need the PTS, but the actual technique we're looking for is an inside day bar pattern. This is one of the things on our master scanner. If you're not familiar with the two-bar pattern, inside days are days where the chart bar has a lower high and a higher low than that of the previous day. All right? Sounds a little complicated and wordy. Well, let me show you an example here. This is an inside day. Bar number 1 has a range from open to close, has a range the top to bottom, okay? Bar number 2's range from top to bottom is within bar number 1's range. Now, you can either be equal to or less than inside this range. Lower high, higher low, okay? Now, here is the setup we're looking for and that we can scan for, because there are literally dozens of these generated on a nightly basis. You look for both bars of the inside day pattern to be colored green. This is your signal that quick upward momentum may continue. Remember, this is a signal for a high probability upward area. This is not a signal for a strategy. How you want to enter is up to you. You can enter at the market. You can place a limit somewhere. You can enter higher as you go up. It's up to you. We're just sharing with you these high probability entries, but you're going to see how powerful they are in just a few seconds. So this is what we're looking for. The inside day, the two-bar pattern, both bars must be colored green. That's it. Now the sell pattern, you want to look for both bars of an inside day pattern to be colored red. That's your signal that quick downward momentum may continue. So this is all we're looking for. Bar number 1, bar number 2 are both red. Now someone would say, well, Steve, this is easy. I mean, what do I need to scan for these? Because once again, there are literally dozens, if not hundreds of these generated on a nightly basis. Some are better than others, and we show you this in the course, which are the higher probability ones. But let me just share with you what this technique is. Let's look back at VRSN again, all right? Here's what the outcome was. Wouldn't you have liked to have taken advantage of that somewhere along here? Well, you apply the PTS, and look how simple it is. We knew well in advance that this stock was going higher in an uptrend. We didn't know how high. We just knew that it was going up because the bars were all colored green. And then once you apply this technique, you see that there was the bicep, the inside day, the two-bar pattern right here, 3 weeks prior to the 17-point rise. Okay? That's how simple it was. Now, we see here in DRYS, we can apply the same techniques, the same patterns to a very inexpensive stock. Before we were looking at a $100 stock. Now let's look at a very inexpensive, I'd say $4 or $5 stock. Obviously, in terms of percentage, this took off tremendously, but we would have wanted to know somewhere around here that we were going higher, right? Well, on our platform, all you would have to do is click on the PTD, and you see that well in advance, even when it looked like we were going sideways, the PTD was coloring the bars green, telling us that we are in an uptrend. Now, look at all the inside patterns here. You could have taken advantage of each and every one of these. Now, that was only a 3-point gain, but that equals to 75% in just 2 weeks. The stock gained 75% of its value. That's tremendous. Can you imagine Netflix gaining 75% of its value in just 2 weeks? That would be unbelievable. So, this brings us to our PTD Master Scanner. As I said, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of these generated on a nightly basis. Wouldn't you want to know what they are? And remember, this is just one of the 8 different techniques that we scan for. You can be scanning for any number of them you'd like, and each one generates dozens a night. So let me show you how simple it is to use our new feature that we developed with Proprietary Strategies. All right, once you log on to our PTS Primo Charting platform, you see here, here's the standard basic uploading once you've logged on. And it's as easy, you don't even have to open up a chart. You can just click on the PTD scanner, which is right here. That's our master scanner. And right away, you will see this page drop down. This gives you all the different techniques, gives you the ability what to load, what to scan for. We're clicking on the inside day patterns here. We click on load symbols, and that provides us with a load of symbols. Here we scan for the Standard & Poor 100. Now, all you do is simply hit scan, and you'll see either red or green bars. The red bar is a sell signal. The green bar is a buy signal. That's how simple it is, and this entire process probably takes you less than 30 seconds every night. So let me share with you some recent scan examples that you could have taken advantage of if we had, let's say, presented this webinar maybe a month ago, okay? All right, let's look at Apple, all right? What do we have here? We have all red bars, and then we have an inside day pattern. Both of these bars are green, all right? The scanner scanned for this and found this, technique set up, and you would have been made aware of it. You could have taken advantage of it if you wanted to, but either way, 14 points coming into mid to May, all right? 14 quick points in the next 4 or 5 days. How about IQ, okay? The PTD has colored all of these bars green. This was coming into June. As you can see, we're just basically going sideways, but look at all the inside days here. We have an inside day followed by another inside day pattern, another one, all right? You could have taken advantage of any one of these, and as you can see later, the stock went up 24 points coming into the 3rd week of June. All right. Now, how you want to implement this is up to you. Remember, these are not strategies. This is not a system. We're not telling you that you have to buy at a certain point. We're not telling you have to sell at a certain point. That's up to you. We are just scanning for these high probability areas that you obviously would love to take advantage of. Now, that was 24 points in just about less than a month. And if you missed that, there were still opportunities along the way. More inside day patterns were generated. All right, let's look at HRS on the opposite side. This was June 12th. As you can see, we just have 2 bars here. The first bar is red, the second bar is red, and the second bar is an inside day pattern. So that's telling you, I don't care what the earnings are, I don't care what the market looks like, that's telling you that most likely this stock wants to go lower. This is a high probability sell setup. Wherever you want to enter, however you want to enter, you want to buy options, you want to short the stock, whatever, it's up to you. But the stock fell 10 points in 1 week. And you could have scanned for that and seen that the night before out of the literally hundreds of stocks that were generated. How about Fossil, FOSL? For solar, as you can see, this is coming into the end of May, beginning of June. 2 inside day patterns here. Doesn't look like much is really happening in the stock, but it went up 12 points coming into this past week. Now, it doesn't take a lot to really scan for this. All you really need are the last 2 days, because once again, this is not something that needs to look back 10, 20, 30 days. All you need to look at are the last 2 days, because if the PTD has colored both of those bars red, that is a setup to go short. As you can see, there was a inside day here, but nothing really happened. But as you can see, what happened on the next day? Another inside day. So we have a series of inside days here, and the stock quickly fell 5 points, okay? Now let's look at this. This is an example of how we teach you how to enter, because there are certain ways in which to enter. One of the things we will teach you are our different entry points, different entry styles. And as you can see, it's up to you how you want to do it. But one of the most conservative ways to enter is when you get the 2-bar pattern to enter 1 tick above bar number 2. That way you have confirmation that it's going to go higher. So as you can see, if you would have entered and waited for it to trade above there, you would have never lost money. So that's the beauty of using this conservative entry method, okay? So what we teach our beginning students with any of our strategies is once you have a setup, only to enter if it trades above that second bar, okay? So as you can see, we never traded above, no harm, no foul. And all of a sudden the bars start to turn red. So guess what? We're not going to even consider buying this anymore. Now that the bars are red, we're looking for a sell setup. And had you scanned once again on the night of June I believe that was the 8th, you would have seen another setup. So you could have taken advantage of going short 1 tick below, and that's 15 points in 1 week coming into the last week in here in June. So that's the beauty. When you're a little conservative, you will miss the losing setups because they're not all going to be winners depending on how you like to enter. BIIB, as you can see, the stock is basically going sideways here in May. Someone looking at this would say, well, okay, the PTS is saying it wants to go higher, but it could change, right? Well, sure, it can always change its mind. But right here, it's giving you signals with 2 inside day patterns that it wants to go higher. So you had a chance here to buy options, to buy the stock. The stock went up 30 points coming into the 2nd week of June. And another setup was generated the 1st week of June. Here's another example here, and this is how we say all of our methods, all of our techniques have high levels of consistency. And by consistency, we mean that nothing is guaranteed that we're going to have 100% winners. Never listen or trust anyone that says they have 100% winners, because it just doesn't work that way. What you want to hear is someone say, listen, we have a method that will have losses from time to time, but it'll make them back quickly. That's what consistency means. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So here you can see we had a buy setup. You would have scanned the night before and it would have shown you that there was a buy setup. Had you even entered on the conservative way, you would have entered and most likely generated some type of a loss. That's okay, because what do we have here? 2 or 3 days later, we have a sell setup. So you get right back on your horse, you lick your wounds, and you go the other way, and 10 points. So you would have most likely made back all that loss and then some. Now here's Netflix, okay? Obviously a $300, $400 stock, but you could have purchased options on this. The scan would have found a lot of setups here, as we showed you earlier. Even when it looked as if nothing was happening, the PTS was coloring this green, and then it was scanning and found all these inside setups. Now, sure, we were going up, but not very dramatically until right here. Now, had you taken the very first setup, that would have generated 70 points in 1 month. Now, don't you think you would have loved to have scanned in the end of May and found that you had these couple of inside day patterns that were available on the master scanner list that you could have taken advantage of? In 1 month, 70 points, all without the help of all the traditional things that I myself was taught, like support and resistance, like volume, like earnings, like economic reports, like what the institutions are doing. You don't have to waste your time and money on those outside factors. The one thing we teach you at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies is how to listen to the market, because the market basically tells you everything you need to know. So that's the source. That's what you should be listening to, not what some guy in a chat room is telling you. So once you learn how to listen to the markets with all our techniques and all of our scans, you can really start to take your trading to the next level. Now, I know a lot of you say, Steve, this is great, but I don't trade stocks. I don't trade options. Okay, let me show you some other markets at other time frames. First of all, let's look at those investors. Here is a monthly chart of the QQQs going back to May 2016, just 2 years ago, okay? Let's say you're an ETF trader or an investor, and you like to purchase for your IRA or your long-term portfolio positions. And you see here that you want to get into this. And as you can see, you have an inside day pattern here. Even though these 2 bars are both monthly bars, you could approach this 2 different ways. You could actually purchase the stock, or you could use this as a market timing device. In other words, if this technique along with the PTD, is showing you a high probability entry point for the QQQs, isn't it at the same time telling you that the market wants to go higher? So wouldn't that be telling you in advance that we're going to have a bullish market here, most likely? Because these are monthly bars. And as you can see, the QQQs went up 60 points in the next 2 years, and that transferred over onto an $9,000 point rise in the Dow Jones. So what a great indicator you could use this for as well. Now, if you want to use it for trading, let's see what we could do if we wanted to apply this to the E-mini futures. Here is a chart of the E-mini futures taken on June 21st, coming into June 22nd, just this past week or so, on a 30-minute time frame. And as you can see, this is how most traders lose money. They'll see that we're going lower and they go, okay, well, I'm going to short it, and it'll go down a little bit. But then when they think they're going to make a nice profit, the trend changes, and now it starts to go up. And at this point, this is where they probably buy and lose money, okay, or get out. Let's add the PTD, and we can see that the PTD was telling us well in advance that we were in a downtrend and told us well in advance, 3 green bars, that we were going higher. Now, all we have to do is scan, and we could have seen these inside patterns, some better than others, but depending on how you wanted to enter. And that was, if you had taken this first one, 25 points that you could have potentially captured. All right. Remember, how you exit is entirely up to you. Once we started getting consecutive green bars, well, you just switch gears. Apply the scan. You see the inside bars right here. And that's taken this first one, 8 points now. So you could have potentially captured roughly 33 points in just 1 day of the E-mini S&P. That's about over $1,600 per contract. Now, how about a 4-hour chart of the Australian dollar? A lot of currency pair traders like to trade on a 4-hour chart. Okay, well, let's only look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars. That's all you need. We apply the PTD. We see that the last 5 are red. And guess what? These last 2 are an inside day pattern. You could have scanned for that. The scanner would have identified that at the end of the 4-hour run. And guess what? 200 pips in the next week, $2,000 per unit. And if you missed that first setup, look at all the different opportunities you could have taken advantage of. Remember, these things are being generated all the time. That's why we that's why we developed the scanner, because we know that they're being generated all the time. There's no way you can identify all of these different setups. Plus, this is just one of the techniques we offer you. Remember, we have a total of 8 altogether, and we're always coming up with more. We will include more as they develop. So let's recap. We shared with you when we taught you a simple trading technique using the PTD that pinpoints quick momentum moves in any direction and in any time frame. Now ask yourself, do you think these edges could have helped your trading this past year? Forget about this past year. How about this past week? Okay. I'm going to share with you in just a few minutes how this could have helped you a few days ago. Here's our special attendee discount, our special offer for all the people taking time out of your Wednesday to join us today. Really excited once again about our new PTD Master Scanner, okay? Forgive the typo right here. This was because we generated this so quickly, and this just came up. Even the typing is a little bit off. It's not the Matter Scanner, it's the Master Scanner, but it does matter, okay? We really feel that this will take your PTD trading to the next level. Why? Because it unlocks hidden PTD patterns, okay? We have 8 new proprietary master scans. It identifies high probability entry points, all markets and time frames. If you have a position, a lot of traders, we feel it would help them add to their position. A lot of traders like to add while they're trading something. You can scan for these different setups, and you can add to your position with confidence and clarity. It's simple and fast. It takes minutes to use on a nightly basis. Along with this comes mentoring correspondence. You get my personal email. Anytime you have a question, you can always email me, and I will help you with the scanning process. It literally gives you tomorrow's setups today. For example, remember I shared with you that I could tell you something that would have been happening this past week that you could have used the scanner for. These are the spiders, okay? That's the ETF for the S&P 500 index, okay? Now, this is the stock that basically mirrors the S&P 500. You could easily trade this, or you could use this as a market directional tool, the way we said earlier with the QQQs. Now, these are daily bars, all right? If we add the PTD, we see that we are originally green, but at this point, we started to have consecutive red bars. Even though these bars closed up, look at the outline. The outline is red. That's telling you that we are in a downtrend. Now that the PTSD has told us we're in a downtrend, we want to look for these techniques to be in sync with the trend. Remember, trading 101 is to always trade in sync with the trend. Someone could have looked at this and said, well, Steve, this is a great pullback. I'm just going to buy here because we're going higher. Well, we don't see it that way. We see that we're in a short-term downtrend, and you want to be in sync with the trend, so that means you're either on the sidelines or you're a seller. Now, someone at this point would say, okay, but what do I sell? How do I know a high probability entry point? I just don't want to blindly sell, right? No, you never want to do that. Therefore, you would use the scanner, and what do you have? You have an inside day that was generated on the 22nd, okay? That was on Friday. So the close on Friday, you could have entered to go short. You could have bought some puts. Either way, the S&Ps fell 5 points the next day. Now, we realize 5 points is not a big drop, but that's because it's a $275 stock. But guess what? If you're using this as a market directional tool, that represented 500 points to the downside in one day. Do you remember on Monday, I believe, we were down 500 points at one point? So that just shows you the power of this. This you could have scanned for, seen this, and let's say you were thinking about going long. Well, if you had scanned for this, you would have said, boy, I'm not going long. There's a high probability setup in the spiders to go short. Why would I want to go long in the face of the PTSD and this high probability technique? So once again, it generates tomorrow's setups today. We share with you only one of these proprietary techniques. Remember, you get a total of 8 altogether. In future webinars, I may be sharing with you other of these techniques, but I don't want to really give away the farm. I just wanted to share with you one that I've spoken about before. Now, here's how to take advantage of this. The regular price for the master scanner is $14.95. Because of all the people attending today for our introductory offer, we are discounting that by $200 down to $12.95. But this is for one day only. This is if you purchase it today, it's $12.95. Okay? Now, obviously, you must have the PTSD in order to scan for this, all right? So this is $12.95 for PTSD users. Let's say you say, Steve, I don't even have the PTSD. I'd love to have both. Here's the deal we have for that, all right? We're going to combine the PTSD with the master scanner. Remember, it's not the matter scanner, it's the master scanner. The PTSD is usually $29.95. The master scanner is $14.95. That comes out to roughly $4,500. We're going to drop that price as well, down $500, down to $39.95, and there are payment plans available. So if you want a payment plan, you're going to get the PTSD along with all of its multiple uses in its separate course, along with the scanner, the master scanner, $39.95, okay? And you can still have a small deposit and be up and running with both of these. So we can structure some type of payment plan. So here's how to take advantage of this. Contact my sister site, Proprietary Strategies. I developed the master scanner with them. You can either email them. I would suggest calling them directly at area code 310-598-6677. That way, you can actually put together some type of a payment plan if you come up with an entire lump sum, okay? But if you can come up with a lump sum, either way, either the $12.95 or the $39.95, well, simply go to the link at the very bottom. That's the link that will take you to the sign-up page. Now, if you look on the chat box on the far right, they've posted a live link. Okay, so all you have to do is click on that live link, and it will automatically take you to that, okay? Now, I'm going to keep this up here and open up the question and answer box, and I thank you for holding off on any questions. DT is asking, Steve, do you use the PTSD slow or PTSD fast to scan for this technique? Well, most of the PTSD scans are on PTSD fast, but it's up to you, okay? You can decide which one you want for yourself. And remember, there are different uses for this. The PTSD fast is mainly used, I don't want to once again go into a large, complicated explanation because this is reserved for the course members. But in the PTSD fast, these will be mainly for entries. The PTSD slow is for exits, but it's entirely up to you, okay? Chris says, I came in late. Is this webinar recorded? Yes, it is, Chris. We record all of our presentations. We will supply everyone with this link so that you can watch it again. But the one thing I do want to state is that, remember, don't sit on this because that discount, the $12.95 discount, is for one day only. So if you watch the presentation and go, well, this seems really good, but I'll wait, I'll think about it and make a decision next week. Well, it'll be $200 higher. So if you're really interested, I would say, make sure that you take advantage of it today to get that $200 off. All right. And then if you're still thinking about the combination of the PTSD with the PTSD scanner, you can call up for some type of a payment plan, and that way you don't have to come up with a full lump sum. Now remember, there are no guarantees on this, only because these are educational techniques. How you decide to use them is up to you. In other words, this is not something that generates buy signals and generates sell signals and generates exit points and stop placement. That's a strategy. That's a system. Okay? This is just a high probability entry points. Then it's up to you to decide how you want to enter. Now, in the classes and in the instructional videos that we share with you, we give you different options. But, you're basically going to be guaranteeing your own decisions. Remember, I stated at the very beginning, the reason why most traders fail is because you are relying on someone or something to tell you how to trade. Well, what we're doing is providing you with the information, the high probability scans, so that you can make your own decision. Now, two people can look at one high probability entry scan and trade them entirely differently. Let's say there's the sell setup in the spiders that was generated a couple of days ago. You decided to maybe short the stock and you shorted maybe 5 shares, or someone else decided to buy the puts. You're going to get different results, all right, based on that. Someone might have said, well, I'm going to go in for the long haul. I think we're in for a crash. And someone took a quick profit. The person who went in for the crash is probably breaking even, all right, whereas the person who took a quick profit has a profit. So you see, there's no way you can guarantee it because you're making your own decisions where you get in and where you get out. All we can say is we are sharing with you high probability entry points that are literally generated 10 or 20-fold on a night. So it's up to you to decide which ones you want. Once again, we help you with that. And then it's up to you to decide how you want to enter and exit. Okay, we're providing you with a scan that shows you these on a nightly basis. It's taken a lot of time for us to develop this. We have programmers that we put this together. It's taken months to put it together, but we're really happy with the outcome. Okay, I use this myself on a nightly basis. Trust me, when I first started scanning for these things, or I should say not scanning, literally searching for these years ago, before high-speed computers and programmers, I went through a list of hundreds of stocks on a nightly basis, okay? You can go through the entire S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100 in less than maybe 10 minutes and find out what your high probability setups are and what you want to take advantage of for tomorrow. That's the beauty of this scan, all right? And no one else is offering this. This is something unique to pro trader strategies and to specialist trading. So we're really excited about this. It's available on our platform that we developed as well. And our whole mission is simply to educate you as traders so that you can be in charge of your own trading. Now, if you have more questions, if you have more questions about actual payment plans or how you can use this in the future, all you have to do is contact Pro Trader Strategy. Remember, what we shared with you today was just one of the 8 different methods, okay? We just shared with you one. There's a lot more different ways, okay? So, and we're coming up with more that we will have for you eventually along the way. So lots of great information. Contact Pro Trader Strategies, or if you're interested in signing up right now by taking advantage of those, all you have to do is click on the link in the chat box, okay? Thank you so much for attending today. I hope you got something out of this, and I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine, but most especially, I really look forward to you all becoming students of the PTSD Master Scanner course. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.